Hi Slimming Welders, hope you're all well, and I hope your weigh-in was really successful this week. I've done well. I lost a pound, so I'm now only a pesky little pound away from my 1.5 stone, after putting on a pound last week. And I think my husband also lost the weight he gained last week, and he lost a 1.5 stone. So we're sort of back on track, which is really good. Yeah, it's been pretty nervous week actually. I had a job interview at the beginning of the week, and that sort of gave me a lot of anxiety, because it's really hard when you're applying for jobs and you get the feedback and it's like, well, you're almost there but not quite, and I've had a lot of that lately, and it is quite disappointing, especially when I'm looking for something to I need something that's sort of permanent rather than sort of temporary or 0 hours or something. I need a proper job. So it's a bit disheartening when you don't get what you're looking for, and so every time you go for a job interview, there's so much riding on it, and it makes it even, I think I'm getting even more anxious with every interview, which then worries me, because I think to myself, oh, is that sabotaging the interview because I'm so anxious, and that has a big effect on my weight, or at least my sort of weight loss journey, because what I find is that the more anxious I get, the more my sort of my good slimming world habits kind of go by the wayside, should we say, and I've sort of picked at things and not checked my sins and not sort of kept an eye on things like I should have done, and then when I've sort of come down off the sort of anxiety, I've then had a massive sort of energy drop, and I've wanted to have things to help boost that energy again. So yeah, I was sort of relieved to have lost a pound rather than to have gained this week. I'm feeling okay. I didn't get the job, obviously. Otherwise I'd have been bouncing off the walls. But they did say to me that although I wasn't successful at the particular centre I was applying to, it was sort of an educational centre type place, not a school. It's slightly different to that. It's more youth education. And they did say that they would consider me for one of their other centres, and that they have different jobs coming up in the future. So perhaps if I haven't got anything there, something else might, and one of their other centres, something might become available that they feel I might be more suited to. So you never know, keep those fingers crossed, and maybe I'll come on here and go, I got a job, but not yet. So trying to be a bit more, think of a bit more positive. Well, let's just talk about what's happened with the Slimming World updates. I'm not going to read the update out because I'm sure there's plenty of other YouTubers who have read the whole message out that we got earlier on this week, and everyone went, oh, Mullergate. And for those who are not sure, Mullergate is basically to do with the new Slimming World sins, and that Mullerlights that we've all been tucking into for years and years and years, for those of us who've done Slimming World off and on for, like myself, for quite a few years. I've always relied on the good old Mullerlight to get you out of trouble when you want something sweet. Well, now they are sinned, and only one sin, but it's going to be a bit of a shock to the system. So I stocked up on some Mullerlights and put them in the freezer so I could sort of have some Muller ice cream. But perhaps I won't be using Mullerlights again. I've never particularly liked them, to be honest. They're very thin. Some of the flavours I didn't mind. Like recently I had this Turkish Delight was quite nice, and I know I've had a mint choc chip one before. But you know, these things happen. I think the last time I remember something, when I was last in Slimming World, I don't know how many years, you know, I've had a gap for a few years before coming back. I remember that all the Bachelor Ices were free and the mug shots were free and all of that, you know, and that used to be brilliant because they just add some veg to it and what have you, and now all they're synned. And I was like, oh. I mean, the only vegetable, the vegetable rice things that I've found that is still free, I don't know about other supermarkets because I only use Tesco's, but I've still found that the Tesco's value golden rice is still free, which is really handy when I want to do, like, add some tuna to it and other veg to it, and I use them every now and again. And of course they're only 20p, so not 25p I think they are, between 20 and 25p. So they're really, really handy and they're really, really cheap. So I really like those. But yeah, Mullerlight Syned, it's like, oh! So I think I'll probably change brand, not because it's going to be any, you know, they're going to be free or anything, but, you know, why have those thin Mullerlights when I can have a nice thick one for the same SIM value, you know, get something nicer. So yeah, Mullergate, it's been a bit of fun this week. Oh, and tinned spaghetti, no longer free, and mashed potato, no longer free. Instant mashed potato, that is, not, you know, homemade mashed potato. Instant mashed potato, 3.5 cents per 100 grams. And also, you know, the tin spaghetti, I used to get that quite cheaply, and now, whereas it used to be free, I think it's half a tin per 100 grams, so that means a tin, a big tin, I used to get a nice big tin, like the really cheap ones, are like now 2 cents. I was like, oh. So yeah, but I'm not surprised with the tin spaghetti because there's an awful lot of sugar in them. So perhaps, you know, that's why, you know, they're protecting our weight loss by helping to reduce our sugar consumption, which is probably not a bad thing. So we'll all go shock horror and then we'll just all get used to it. But there we go. Mullerlights are synned, so's tin spaghetti, and so is mashed potato. Anyway, I am going to do one of my little food, because I've been trying out another one of the Slimming World recipes. Not the recipes, I always call it a recipe when it's actually the ready meal. So I've been trying out a ready meal, but I'm going to do a separate video on that because I've also tried some other things, and my phone doesn't seem to like me doing videos for too long, so I have to delete one and start again. So I will upload this one and then I will do another one on another ready meal that I've tried. Okay, so take care and speak to you soon.